Hello crafty friends, welcome to another video. This morning I had a rummage through my white scraps bin. I don't have many because I've used a lot recently, but I do have these strips that are left over from making some square card blanks. So they are as long as a piece of A4, but only 2.5 inches wide. And I think I've got 6 of them. So I thought I'd use these today to create a mixed media background, which I can then use on a number of cards. To make everything easier to handle, and so I can work on these as if they were one sheet of paper, I've got some wide masking tape and I'm just sticking them down. And to get going, I'm going to do some good old-fashioned smushing with salvage patina distress oxide. I popped it on my glass mat and I'm going to hydrate it with water. And I've got a smusher here that I can use to smush that on in a lovely, energetic pattern. If you want to know how to make a smusher, I do have a video linked below. And now I'm going to give this a bit of a spritz with this DIY mica powder spray. If you want to know how to make one of these, I'll leave the video to that link below. So some of the salvage patina has dried, some hasn't, but that'll just give me a variety of looks and effects. And now I'm going to dry this with my hairdryer. So I'm going to do some stenciling now. I've got broken china, so we're working in the bluey green, greeny blue part of the spectrum of colours. And I'm going to add this through this stencil. I got this at the Crafty charity shop, but I believe it's indigo blue. I'm not going to cover the whole thing, I'm just going to do patches so we get some variation in visual texture. And just so I don't waste this ink, I'll give it a spritz with water and then plonk it down. We get the mirror image of the letters, but they're not going to be readable. It's just, as I say, to use up that ink, and we'll just get a few more marks down. For even more visual texture, I'm going to use this stitching stamp. I think this is Stampin' Up, but it was another charity shop find. And I'm going to go with a darker ink. This is Uncharted Mariner. And I'm going to add that all over and do successive stampings without re-inking. I've got a smaller one from the same stamp set. These are just some wibbly wobbly whimsical lines. We use the Uncharted Mariner again. So we're building up layers. We're creating visual texture as opposed to physical texture. We're getting a bit of everything everywhere. And it all looks a bit crazy when it's like this in one big piece. So if we grab a colour wheel, we're definitely in this blue-green region. Opposite that is red-orange. So if we want to bring in some contrast, a pop of something different, red-orange is a good idea. It's the complementary colour to blue-green. So this would be the perfect metallic splatter, I think. So I've added some water to that, and I'm going to carefully mix it into a nice painty mixture with a paintbrush. This is a size 6 paintbrush. It's a round paintbrush, and I use this for splattering. So it's not a runny mixture I'm creating so much as maybe, let's call it single cream. So not water, not milk, single cream consistency. And to spatter with it, I'm just going to scoop up as much as I can on my brush. Hold it, I guess that's about 4 inches above my paper, and gently tap it about halfway along the paintbrush. So this is how I get my spatters. They don't go all over my craft room, but they do kind of go on my desk. If you want to avoid getting spatters, you could get a spatter box, just an old cardboard box that you put your paper in to spatter or spray, or you could put some scrap paper down. So that's now a bit thick. I'm going to add a little bit more water, mix it up so it's cream consistency again, and tap gently. I'm not whacking it, just tapping. Same kind of force I'd use, maybe slightly stronger than if I was just sort of tapping my finger on a table or something. I think the rule of thumb is the bigger the paintbrush, the harder you tap, the bigger the splashes you're going to get. The smaller the paintbrush, the gentler you tap, the smaller the splatters you're going to get. But to get the perfect splatters, you really just need to play with what you've got and experiment until you're happy. And now I'm going to dry that. So that's all dry now, looking good. I'm going to flip it over and remove the masking tape, which should be in pretty good condition. I can wrap it round the roll again and use it for something else later. And now we've got a whole bunch of bits that we can use on the front of some cards. What I'm going to do now is a die cut from these, and then I'll come back and show you what I do with those die cuts. Right, I have done all my die cutting and got myself ready to make some cards. First up, I use this die to cut this pattern in a panel of linen textured white card, which I've stuck on the front of a card blank. And I've also used that die to die cut from the paper that I made. So now I'm going to insert all the little bits into the holes in my panel here. I'm using matte medium as my glue, because if it squirts out, it won't leave a glossy smear on my card front, but it's also not too grabby. It will give me a bit of time to wiggle everything into place. So some of my pieces have fallen out, but some are still in, and that just makes it a little bit easier to place everything. So if I put that over there, I can push these where they're going to go. Now I can wiggle these into place and press them down firmly, and then I'll figure out where all the other bits go. It's a bit like a jigsaw puzzle. Now everything's in the right place, I'm going to put some non-stick paper over the top and press it down really firmly so that it's all stuck. And now we can add a sentiment and maybe a die cut to create a focal point on here, but we'll come back to that later. I used a large stitched banner die to cut out a couple of banners. This one I'm going to put on here, straight on the card blank, right over to the right hand side. And this one I'm going to place over on the left, symmetrically around the rule of thirds line there, and have a little gap at the top. So there's two with the same banner but subtly different positioning. For this next card, I cut out 3 postage stamps, and I'm actually going to cut off the postage stampy bit, the frilly bit around the edges. I've got 3 matching postage stamps that I cut from white cardstock, and I'm going to glue my backgrounds onto the postage stamps so they look like postage stamps. And these can go on a card blank. And I'm going to place this one here overlapping the big one and tuck a bit of card under there to support it. This one can go down here. Got a little cluster of postage stamps. Next I've got some short wide banners. Place one at the top over there and one at the bottom on this side, but not have it quite so high up the card. And I'll chop off that overhanging bit. For this next card, I die cut some ticket shapes. I've got some big ones and some littler ones. And I'm going to have them coming in from the right hand side. I'll press those down and then trim off the overhang. Now I can add some of those trimmed off bits on top. And I'll pop some glue on my glue spreader, so any bits that aren't particularly sticky I can add glue to. And I'm using high-tack white glue because I want these to stay in place while they dry. I don't want them wandering off. So that's a nice border of tickets. In a similar vein, I've got some double fishtail banners here, and I'm going to have them coming in from the top. Just make sure I get them the right way up. There we go. So I've got 5 hexagons here, stitched hexagons in different sizes. This is the biggest one, and I'm going to put it on that intersection there, and then we'll add the rest around it. Right, that's ready for some embellishing. For this card, I've got some stitched squares and some stitched pinking sheared corners and sides. The die came, I think, in a set of stitching dies. So I'm going to use the corners here. The pattern doesn't match up, but that's okay. Having a little break between them, a little gap, makes it look okay, I think. So we've got a little foundation spot there. So these bits are from that same die set, but we've got whole squares and squares with one edge that's been pinking sheared, as it were. I'm just going to create a little pattern here, again with a gap in between. Yep, rather like that. This card, I've got some stitched square frames and the squares that you get in the middle when you cut out the frames. I'm going to use both. It's a nice little cluster in the middle there. And now I've got some stitched rectangle frames, and they're rectangles. I didn't have quite enough to cut a full rectangle for this one, so I'm just going to place it on like that, as if it's coming in from the top. Place its inside in. Now a larger one and a smaller one down here, again coming in from the bottom. There you go, that's the last one. So that's 12 cards made from those 6 paper scraps. I'm going to find some embellishments and sentiments, then I'll come back and show you how they turned out. Right, I'm back and I've got all 12 cards for you. So first things first, I used this die to cut out some dream catcher shapes from white cardstock, and I used that on every card. You could use any kind of circle, you could use a doily or a scalloped edge circle, whatever you liked. I chose one with holes in so that it wouldn't cover up too much of the design, but it would provide a nice bit of separation between the background and the main focal point element, which on all the cards are butterflies. This is just one of the dies I used. I used lots of butterfly dies from my collection, and I cut them from matte rose gold or light copper cardstock to tie in with the copper splatters. For the sentiments, I used some from my stash. These are all print and cut ones. I did also use some Julie Hickey foilable die cuts as well, but I didn't foil them. And then as a finishing touch, I cut lots of these butterfly confetti pieces out of the same cardstock and used them as sprinkles. So this is card number 1, the one I did with the aperture die, and I placed my embellishment on this intersection of the rule of thirds, and I nestled a nice bold sentiment right up against my butterfly and added all the butterflies flying in this direction. Card number 2, I placed my cluster here on this intersection of the rule of thirds grid, had everything fluttering upwards, and then I nestled a sentiment here. And on card number 3, the one with the other banner over to the left hand side, I put my embellishment cluster here. I do have a whole series about layout ideas, and a lot of them use this rule of thirds acetate grid, so I'll leave a link to that below. Card number 4, the postage stamps again. My cluster is here, and I popped a little congratulations here right up against the butterfly. So everything is in this area, and we've got some nice white space here. So this is card number 5 with the 2 banners on. Again, I've popped this here and nestled this here, but I did start my sprinkling of butterflies down the bottom here so that both sides of the card, the top and the bottom, are connected. And yes, you guessed it, the ticket die card. I popped my embellishment cluster here. I think we can see a pattern developing using these top 2 intersection points. Again, I spread out my butterflies just to bring everything together. This is very clean and simple. We've got lots of lovely white space here. So for my hexagon card, I popped the embellishment cluster sort of in the middle. The circle's in the middle on this top line here. The butterfly's slightly offset. Because this is not really a symmetrical foundation, I felt I needed to bring the butterfly over to balance the weight of this larger hexagon here. Oh, I forgot to mention that I did put Nouveau Crystal Glaze on the butterfly bodies to give it a bit of dimension. To connect all of the hexagons, to make them all bound together as it were, I added lots of the butterflies. And I popped my sentiment down here. I felt it went well on this little mini cluster of hexagons. Card number 9 has got this square made out of the 4 pinked corner pieces. And I thought it would look really nice with the Dreamcatcher piece right in the middle. And I added a smaller butterfly because I didn't want to cover up all of the squares beneath. And a sentiment nestling and a few little sprinkles. So very clean, very simple. Card number 10, the 2 columns with the pinked bits at the ends. Probably the most, I guess, peculiar card, but I still quite like it. Is offset to the left, which makes it kind of interesting. And I placed my cluster on this intersection down the bottom and added a flutter of butterflies going upwards and a big just for you sentiment over to the right, so it does sort of sneak into this part of the card. Number 11 now, the square frames. Again, this intersection, lots of little butterflies to bring everything together, and a get well soon nestled in the crook of the butterfly's wing here, and lots of white space. And finally, the rectangle frame die. Again, this intersection, a nestled sentiment, and lots of sprinkly butterflies to bring everything together. So I don't think that's a bad batch of cards for starting with just 6 white scraps of paper. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I hope you've gleaned lots of ideas. If you'd like to see more from me, do subscribe, and I'll see you back here very soon for another video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.